Let me see here more.
It sounds like...
Okay, I'm going to disconnect audio.
Over Now. That's the song I was thinking of. Yeah,
Hi-Fi.
by Alice in Chains.
And
famous Seattle band.
I've
Alice
joined
in
the audio
Chains.
and I still can't hear you.
There's a sketch.
Yeah, I don't know. Ben, I'm going to hang up and I'm going to call back.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Okay. Yeah,
Does that
you
work?
can do that. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to leave.
I'll do this first just so it's not weird. Yeah, Almost Live had a sketch where it was band or woman's affliction.
Bye.
And
now I can hear you.
Still speaking.
Can you hear me? Because I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
And
we did
one
it.
of the women's afflictions was Jane's Addiction, as was Alice in Chains. Susie Underwater was another one.
So I'm in the middle of trying to figure out a very difficult Wordle.
I hear today's was pissing people off.
That's going to distract me, but it's okay. I'm going to do the podcast and then do the Wordle afterwards and just have that stick in there.
Do you want a hint?
No.
The word is...
No. Here's a hint for you. The answer. No.
It wouldn't be the answer, but it's not... I don't play Wordle.
Yeah.
But somebody was complaining about it today online.
Someone that you knew or
someone that I know. No.
Okay.
It was Michael Hayes. And
okay.
Michael Hayes was upset that it was a certain type of word.
Oh no. A racial slur for today's Wordle.
Yep. Exactly. New York Times, man, has really gone downhill since Elon Musk bought it.
I was okay. I'm gonna say something that I think this is okay. I think this is okay to talk about. My kid is watching 12 Years a Slave in school. And she was like, they had to fast forward over some parts that were too gritty for us or whatever. But here's the thing. Do you know 12 Years a Slave? Have you seen it? Because I haven't seen it.
No, I know of the movie, but I have not watched it.
So she said basically, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not going to give, spoilers as much, but she said, because I asked, it's called 12 Years a Slave. And the main character is an adult. I'm guessing that he wasn't a slave at the beginning of the movie. And she goes like, yes, he gets tricked by these guys. And then they're like, we're going to call you the N-word. And here's the thing, right? My brain did this thing where this guy is being threatened by two people. And they say to him, we're going to call you the N-word. Like they're warning him ahead of time. And then it reminded me of this thing that I was doing because, when our former president, Donald Trump, was running for president, and then when he became president, one of the things he was doing is he was courting bigotry. That was one of the things that he was doing. And I had this sort of fever dream during his presidency where a news reporter said today at 8 p.m. Pacific time, President Donald Trump will say the N-word. And like there was a big press conference. He was like, I'm gonna say it. You can't stop me from saying it. Freedom of speech. All this kind of stuff. And like news reporters were talking about it. So I had that in the back of my head. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, he's being threatened by these guys. But here's the thing. Do you remember who the guy from 12 Years a Slave was?
Is it Chiwetel?
Yes. And he also was in Doctor Strange.
Who was he in Doctor Strange?
I forget exactly. More. It starts with an M. Baron Moore something.
It's
I wish I knew Doctor Strange more. Um, but anyway, so she was talking about that, and we happened to be in a comic book shop, and I said, "Hey, check this out," and I pointed to that action figure, and she's like, "I don't know," and then I was like, I pulled it up on IMDb, and I says, "Look, same guy," and that's what being an actor is all about.
Yeah.
Now, the last time we talked, did I have my mustache?
I was actually going to bring up the mustache in the room, Paul.
Okay, I have decided I'm turning 50 soon, and I'm losing some of my hair. You can see, it started to. I mean, I remember walking with you in Ballard under a dripping, like Eve or something like that, and it hit me right in a kind of a bald spot in my hair. That was a while back, but it's starting to become more pronounced. And so I'm doing two things. One is I'm growing my hair out a little bit, but I don't want to be the guy, because for a while, you remember, I had a little patch of
Just
hair.
last week you did.
And then the rest of it was shaved. I was like, I don't want to be that guy, because I see those guys on TV, and I'm like, listen, buddy, no,
you're not fooling anybody.
So the idea is that I am now going to let my hair do what it is and have a mustache. And then once my hair grows out a little bit, I'll decide whether or not to keep the mustache. But I'm liking it. And Betty said it makes me look like a different guy.
It definitely is a certain feel. And
here's my question.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about it?
Paul, how long have I known you for, my friend? We've been friends for, over 20 years,
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. I have seen you through many, many different hairstyles and facial styles. I have learned never to fall in love with any single one.
But the mustache is tempting you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, our friend Drunk is on the line, and he says that mustache is goated. Which
nice.
I'm assuming he means it means the greatest of all time, Med.
So, yeah, the thing about here's the thing. Everybody's got a beard now. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
I haven't shaved in 3 days beard.
Yeah, the mustache is not, necessarily ironic once you get to a certain age. It just becomes, this is your facial hair. So
you have a very thick cop type Ned Flanders mustache. I'm a little envious, actually, Paul. I don't know if you remember, but when we were in the front page, I had to grow a mustache myself. And even after having so I had a mustache for however long the run was, and I still had to put mascara in my mustache so people in the back of the house could still see my mustache, because it was a character trait.
I remember now that I did have a mustache before, but I had a mustache and long curly hair. And the issue that dealt with, the thing that meant, was that I looked like a certain porn star that people like to compare me to. And I think because...
yes, we've spoken about that.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So the big thing is this. With the short hair and the mustache, I don't think I'm going to grow my hair out long, like shoulder length, like I did before. I think I'm going to get, a relatively okay thing. And here's the thing. I believe that with the mustache, I look kind of like a normal dude. Not entirely, but kind of like okay, wait, no. That look on your face, Ben, I'm wrong. I
just don't know what your definition of normal dude is.
Yeah, true. Here's the thing. Like a guy that means business. Like I come in and I'm like, all right, that needs to go over there, and this thing should probably be over here. And hey, who are you two? And what are you doing?
You know what what that haircut and that mustache looks like to me? It looks like I work at a bank and you're here to audit my teller.
Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Because here's the thing. That means that I can get away with more in general. Like before, when I would walk into a place, people were like, okay, what's this guy up to? Now it's more like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? what is this guy here for? That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Drunk says you look exactly like somebody he just can't figure it out.
Oh, nice. That's oh, I see. There's a person that I look like, and he can't figure out who it is. I thought he meant you look like someone I just can't figure it out. Like an enigma, a strange
mystery wrapped in a riddle.
This is actually something that happened yesterday.
Bacon. Yeah.
As I mentioned, I went to the comic book store with Betty, and I walked in, and I had the mustache, and I saw my reflection in the mirror, and I said, "I want pictures of Spider-Man." Now, the timing of this was great because right after I said that, I walked into a comic book store, and there were Spider-Man comics. I was like, "Nice," which I thought was really great. It's one of those things like I don't do comedy that much in front of people, but that felt good. That felt really nice. Like a definite good thing.
Right.
So
doing comedy is a lot of fun. Drunk says you look like someone who either works at a bank or owns a motorcycle repair shop.
Yeah. I told you we'd have that on Tuesday. What are you still doing here on Wednesday? That's a day after we said that we would have it. Listen, I don't keep time by a watch. I keep time by how long it takes me to do things.
Does Emo Phillips own this motorcycle repair shop?
Oh, I was wondering if I could buy a motorcycle from you. Oh man, yeah. Emo Phillips has a joke that did not age well. I'm
sure a lot of comedians from that age have jokes that don't age well.
Yeah, but it's weird because you don't think of Emo Phillips as being like, at least I don't. But being reactionary. But we all do it. We get older and we either have to disavow things that we have done in the past or go on a hard right turn and start selling out stadiums.
Is the joke people. Something you can say on the podcast?
Oh, I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was basically, and here's the thing. I will say this. It was a dig on trans people.
Oh, yeah.
And wordplay. Not necessarily mean-spirited, but still a trans person is the butt of the joke. So,
yes.
Yeah.
A punching down joke, if you will.
Yeah, and not even and this is the thing, is that this is the problem with it. And you and I are both comedy adjacent at least, so we can talk about this.
Sure.
There is a certain type of comedy that is bad, not because it's punching down necessarily, but because it ignores the personhood of the person who is involved in the joke entirely. If that makes sense. B. Kilbian, I was just thinking about him today. He has a book that I really like called Two Guys Fooling Around with the Moon. You might know, I might be saying his name wrong too, and I apologize for that if it is. But he had a book called Cats, and there are all these weird drawings of cats. Anyway, it's a comedian. He had some jokes that were racially insensitive. And even for the time, they were a little bit risque, right? And it's one of those things of I really like his books, but there are one or two pages that are like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. So that's something. I was thinking about.
I realized I was walking to work yesterday morning, and I was listening to my music, and it was on shuffle. So it's basically everything in my musical library was on shuffle, and a certain John Lennon song came on, and I just had to skip it. I couldn't listen to it. It was "Woman is the N-word of the world."
I know. Yep.
And I remember watching an interview with him. It might have been Dick Cavett or something, where he was defending that title. I bet you that doesn't age well these days.
Yeah, exactly. And this is That's the
But yeah,
thing, right?
I couldn't even listen to it. It was just that, like, I don't know if I
Right.
want
You're
to call it
like,
cringy, but
yeah, and this is the thing, and I think you'll go with me on this one. It's not a oh no, I might get in trouble if I listen to it. It's more like
yeah,
I don't need to hear this. This
yeah.
is
It
not
just feels,
something that
yeah,
I.
it feels gross to
Um,
me now.
let's see. I was gonna talk about. Um, I can't remember exactly. So, I saw Succession. That was pretty good.
Oh, you're all
The
caught
latest
up?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you see it?
I have. You want to talk about it?
Succession spoilers.
Success for season, what is it? Season 4, episode
Season
3?
4, specifically the episode Connor's wedding, I think it's called.
Yes. So turn it off. We're gonna have spoilers for Succession right now. I thought until they actually showed it, I
Yep.
thought that whole plot line was a prank by Logan to trick his kids.
I didn't necessarily even think it was a trick by Logan at first. I thought that Tom was just messing
Ah, yeah, I can see that
with
too.
them, because he does that. They set that up, that's the kind of stuff that he does. So yeah. For those of you who we're dancing around it, but Logan Roy died, and it's sort of like he died off screen, kind of
Yeah.
like he was already down when the call about it came through, which I thought was great. It
D-
it really, because that's sort of how death kind of happens. There's something else going on, and then you find out that someone else died.
It's also I read that they had filmed like a 27-page one shot of the kids on the phone in the
Yeah. Oh, I
boat.
heard about that. Yeah.
And I wish, and the in the post show like featurette that they
Yep.
have, I can't remember. I think it was Mark Mylod mentioned that, who directed that episode, that a majority of that made it into the episode. I'm
Yep.
kind of sad. I wish like they had committed to that, because I think that would have really like amped up the tension and anxiety that the kids were feeling.
Yeah.
Just that like sort of that helplessness you have in trying to understand what's going on, in a phone call that is not the clearest of calls.
I'm betting that. I mean, they talked about how they shot on film, so they had to have cameras ready to go and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm betting that some of it might be technical. The fact that they broke it out.
I mean, they
That
probably
kind of
did that
thing.
thing in any movie or TV show where they do a one shot is hide the cuts behind, like a passing
Yeah,
through a
stuff or
door
whatever.
or something like that. Yeah.
So there's that. But around the same time, and this is why I mentioned it. Do you remember Angelo Badalamenti, or know about him? I might be pronouncing his name wrong.
I do not.
Um, he is the guy who did the music for Twin Peaks. Also did the music for City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, a lot of my favorite stuff. He's done the music for.
Yeah.
And I found out he died in December. I think December
Tragically
13th.
young or.
No, he was like 85, I think, or
All right.
80, somewhere. He was in his 80s, I believe. But the big thing is that I didn't realize at the time that he had died, and it struck me. Did I know? Oh, when I say I didn't realize at the time, like when
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
that he was dead, and it struck me that I don't remember if I learned it and forgot it or if I never knew it. It's one of those crazy little things. So we'll see.
Mad Magazine cartoonist Al Jaffe passed away
Yes.
this week at the age of 103,
102,
I
I
believe.
believe.
102.
I believe. But yeah, pretty crazy. He obviously was a part in our lives a little bit.
Yeah, very
Mad
big part.
Magazine was popular when we were children. Let's see. Not about people dying, just a separate thing. But I am, my mental stuff is a thing that sometimes we talk about. I'm actually going to a place in St. Louis. I'm trying to get. I'm doing a checkup kind of getting re-diagnosed, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
really?
See, yeah, trying to see if there's a difference, in my mental makeup. Um, if because, like I said, the autistic thing feels really correct, but I was also my doctor said, yeah, that's probably it, whatever, but wouldn't didn't like giving diagnoses. Feels that they are, too limiting and all that, which is great, and I do enjoy that. I do. And she said that I'm not needing therapy anymore and all that. And yet, for me, it is useful to have some form of documentation just in case something happens, if that makes sense. Like, um, if accommodations are needed, or if some sort of thing is going on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, I'm not looking to get medications or anything like that. But the other thing is, I don't know if you remember when I was on Stratera, that actually worked pretty well for me. That's the one non um like speed style amphetamine style ADHD medication I was on.
I do
It's
not
a
remember when you were on that.
it
Neither does
would have
Edward.
been, yeah, exactly. It would have been like in the 2000s, early 2000s,
All right.
very early 2000s.
Quite a while ago
Um,
then.
yeah. My insurance stopped paying for it, so I had to stop taking it. And then they put me on the amphetamine medications, and that did not go well. Remember when I was making all the tape balls?
I vaguely remember the tape balls.
I would take an object and I would wrap it in tape, and then I'd just keep on wrapping until it was a solid silver sphere with something on the inside of it. It was a
You went
hobby
through a
of
lot
mine.
of tape that way.
I did, in fact, yeah, yeah, it was a problem. Um, and I think, okay, so Jennifer and I got married while I was still on Stratera, I think.
All right.
So that would have been 2005.
That was front page era.
Yeah, and then they took me off of it, put me on the other stuff, and it was very difficult for Jennifer to deal with me when I was on the amphetamine medications. So we want to say no to all of that, but
Right.
it's just so I'm seeing a specialist.
So you're not looking
Uh,
for any further medications or treatment. You're just looking for information.
Looking for
And
information. Maybe. Okay, so here's the thing. I'll be a little bit more forthcoming. One of the reasons I'm going to them is that they're a research group, and so it's possible that I can help. Um, by being part of studies and things like that, doing
mm,
different things. So we'll see. The hard part is that my medication, not my medication, sorry, my insurance doesn't cover it unless I'm actually in the state, in their state. So they're across the river in Missouri, and so I can't do telehealth with them. So I have to actually drive over there.
right.
So
I
I
think
don't
we talked
know.
about that last week. How like Jennifer was going to drive you to
Oh
some
yeah,
sort of
yeah. Okay,
medical
so we did
appointment.
talk about this. So
We didn't
Jennifer
talk
is
about
going to
exactly
drive
what it
me.
was, but just like you had an appointment and she was going to drive.
Yeah, but I am now going to drive because I got a different appointment earlier before she, normally wakes up, and it's in a different location. So it's 40 minutes away rather than 50 minutes away. Um, I'm gonna follow all the rules of the driving and all that. I do have a license and I'm allowed to drive, so
Yes.
it's gonna be fine. I just prefer not to when I can
Right.
help it. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's the main thing I'm mostly interested in is just I already know how to help things, but I think I might not have mentioned this, but I was in a situation. Imagine, if you will, like a situation where I couldn't figure out the Wordle, but also there were people who I was around who were like, "Hey, is that Wordle done yet? Hey, we really need the Wordle to get done." You know, that sort of thing. And
Like
I
a
don't know.
work
I think I might.
situation.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I think I might have mentioned this. I don't remember if I did. But so I was in a situation like that, very high stress. I've got to do this thing, but I can't do this thing, and I hit myself in the back of the head. Did I mention this already?
Yes. I don't
Um,
know if you mentioned it on the podcast or one of our
okay.
after
So I hit
podcast
myself in the back of the
chats.
head. It hurt. My arm went numb a little bit and all that. And I was like, okay, I should not physically lash out when I am upset.
Right.
This is something that I need to watch. So that was the thing where I was like, okay, I'm going to take another look at being, uh, diagnosed or whatever. So we'll see how it goes. Also, the other thing I found is that the mustache can make me look non-threatening. Observe.
Yeah, I mean, Mr.
There's that guy.
Flanders.
I mean, yep, exactly. Um, and yet serious.
Cop.
I don't know. Yeah, Mr. Flanders cop, depending. Hey, do you remember? Um, this is one of my favorite things they ever did on the Daily Show. Uh, there was a thing that happened, I think, in the Middle East. I don't remember exactly. But they were doing one of those things where you interview, where you're doing a news story, and then it shows someone who's speaking in their language, and then a dub of what they're saying comes over it.
Yeah.
Um, so they showed, I believe it was a firefighter, and then the dub came over, and the person who was doing the dub was like, "Yeah, so I was." It was wonderful, just so good.
I think I can't remember what late night show it is. It was either Colbert or Seth Meyers, or maybe I'm completely off base, and it was neither a late night show, neither late night nor a show, but it was when they would play a clip of Jared Kushner saying something, they would use Gilbert Gottfried to do the
Oh
voice.
wow, no,
Uh,
I
It
I
might have
don't
been, you know
remember
what?
that.
It might have been John Oliver, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, because
Ah,
at this point in the Trump presidency, nobody had like really heard Kushner speak, and so like they were like, we're just assuming this is what he sounds like, and then Gilbert
yeah.
Gottfried going, when I went to the White House and talked to the president.
Oh wow. Yeah. No. Oh, speaking about late night shows and all that, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, something that I didn't have cable for a lot of it, is over. And I
Yeah.
didn't. It was one of those things like where someone dies and you didn't realize that they were still alive, but that show was still.
Well, I still follow. I follow one of the writers on Twitter, and he was posting about it.
So that's too bad. I never like it when people in the entertainment industry lose their jobs because it's a dream, right? It's what you want to do, kind of. What those people want to do, I guess. It
Yeah.
it was funny for the longest time. A job in entertainment was the thing that I thought I was destined for, the thing that I thought that I really wanted. Um, I it was surprising for me to learn that I sometimes am more comfortable working in a situation where um, I'm not as I'm not going to say emotionally invested because I'm still emotionally invested in the things I work on now,
Yeah.
but not as ever since I was a little kid I wanted to do this
Right.
thing. Um, and the reason I realize this is that I mean that's some I'm not going to say it's a sucker's game. I mean, there are some things that they want to do, but like back when I was working for Lowell Work, right? I can ask cheeseburger stuff, everybody wanted to work there because it was fun and it was memes and stuff. And so, the compensation was not commensurate with the work that people were doing, because getting to work there was one of the benefits, I guess. So
well, that only pays for so much.
Yeah, that's true. And this is why you sometimes have a high turnover rate, because people are like, oh, yeah, not worth it, and then they go or whatever. So I still stand by my previous statements, Ben. I'm sure that you've heard this before. If they had kept it on Animal Planet, that show would still be going to this day, in my opinion. But
I don't remember them putting it on Animal Planet.
No, it was originally going to be an Animal Planet thing, and then they switched it to Bravo.
It's all owned. It's all these TV shows or TV channels are owned by the same two companies anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think you might have even made this quip already. It's much better to have it on Animal Planet as opposed to having it on 2 a.m. on Bravo or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Your season finale / series finale originally aired like at 1:30 in the morning.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like how nature tells you it's not going to renew your show.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. So one day, Ben, you and I'll sit down and I'll be like, here's the other thing that you don't know: the gray aliens. No, but I can't talk about that. Anyway,
there's a brouhaha circling in the Writers Guild right now. They're considering striking because of pay. Speaking of jobs in the entertainment industry, where like the privilege of working in a writer's room on a hit TV show doesn't pay your rent if you're living in New York City.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's the other thing is that the weird thing about, I think it was Jennifer who told me this. Speaking of Succession, this is when she brought it up. Connor is played by
Alan Ruck.
Say again, Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck.
And Alan Ruck. She mentioned that he still had a job for a long time because Ferris Bueller's Day Off didn't pay like a living wage for him.
Oh, like a non-entertainment industry job? Like he was a pizza guy or something?
Exactly. I forget what the job was. But that kind of stuck with me. I also had, when I was following the Game of Thrones thing and all that, some of the people who are on there were very forthcoming about what their lives are like people who are up for these roles and stuff like that. And one of the people mentioned, you have no money and then tons of money and then no money. That's the way it works. And Ben,
like
I have to ask you, we haven't talked about this, I don't think. Your residuals for 10 Things I Hate About You. Do you ever get like a penny in the mail or $5 or?
The lowest it had ever gotten to, and I don't even think I ever. I don't even think I ever cashed this check. I think it was 4 cents.
Yeah,
but it averages, about $25-$30 every quarter after taxes.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good.
I think about $100 a year on the movie.
Okay, that's really kind of cool. I don't make any Giraffe and Elephant money at this point. They're out of print.
Yeah.
No one's come for me for the rest of the money, which is good because I don't have it. I don't think they would either.
They paid like an advance for something that didn't.
Well,
get published.
they give you basically, and then that covers. This is how I have been told it works. They guess about how much money you're going to make over the course of your book's print run.
Oh.
Then they give you that and then they say you can have any royalties past that, and you never make it back, so you never get any further royalties. But they also
Right.
don't ask for the money back.
Well, that's nice of them.
This is what I've heard. Yeah, exactly. Um, so
20 years from now, Disney's going to be like, so.
oh yeah, Disney doesn't own my books anymore though. Now it's Little
All
Brown.
right. Little Brown's going to be at your door.
Well, then they didn't pay me, so it's very circular. Not exactly sure how
I
it
got a
works.
nice house here, Paul Good. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
It's a rental, so okay. Actually, though, if the mob came and broke all your windows, and you called your landlord and say, "Hey, I need to get all my windows fixed because the mob came and broke it," you would probably get evicted at
Yeah.
that point.
Your landlord would, yeah.
I mean, what you would do is you would call your renter's insurance and say, "Hey, all the
Also,
windows
it's
got
on
broken."
that's on the landlord, too. There should be a box to check on the rental application that says, do you have any mob ties?
Yeah,
Yes or no.
I
Or
got
I'm not allowed to say.
ties? Question mark? No. I do, however, know a guy who's mad at me.
Overalls? Maybe.
Mob overalls, yes. I was thinking about the show that Stephen McCandless turned me on to, Banshee.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that or
Nope.
not, but it's a real interesting show about this guy who's a thief who poses as a sheriff. And one of the main bad guys is an evil Amish guy, sort of. Like he was he was Amish and now he's not anymore or something like that. Like he had a Rumspringer and never looked back. But yeah,
I wonder how often that
it's a fun
happens.
show, and that guy is Homelander now.
Now? Or was he always...
The guy from
is
Banshee.
it Anthony Starr?
Yeah, Anthony Starr was in Banshee and then
Anthony.
also was Anthony. Did I say Anthony?
Yeah.
Sorry, Anthony. That is a problem.
I just heard that they wrapped season 4 of The Boys
Hey, all
filming.
right.
So look for that on your Amazon Primes in about a year.
Yeah, Amazon Prime is doing all right. I rented Infinity Pool, starring Alexander Skarsgård.
How's that?
It's okay. So I really like Possessor. Possessor is a film by is it Brian Cronenberg? I think it's Brian Cronenberg,
Son of David?
son of David. And it's one of my favorite films. Infinity Pool, I really like it. But it is also unsurprising, is the way that I would put it. Like, and what I mean is, okay, here is this part, here is this part, here is this part, and you know that it's all going to happen. And here's the thing: I don't think that he set out to surprise anyone. I think that he made this thing, and the fact that it follows how you think it's going to go is fine. It's an okay film. I don't need a film to surprise me necessarily, but I don't want to say anything about it. All I will say is that I was
surprised and how I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, like, oh, how do I describe it? Like if you have a painting that's a picture of a dock with a boat, and it's a very good picture of a dock with a boat, and you're like, well, that is what it is. That's sort of that. And the thing is that this film wouldn't be that
created by AI.
if you didn't know about David Cronenberg and Brian Cronenberg and the ways that they're similar and things like that. There's a view of the world that their films have. And so the basic thing is, if this premise exists in Brian Cronenberg's film, this is what is going to happen within that premise, basically. So,
I've seen the first
yep.
couple episodes of Beef on Netflix. Have you
Oh,
seen
how is
Beef?
that? It looks good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's interesting. I've only seen the first two, but it's keeping me coming back for more. So I'll watch
Well,
some
that's
more
good.
tonight, probably. But
Um,
yeah, it's oh man, what's that guy's name? The guy from The Walking Dead.
yep.
And Ali Wong is the other person. What is that guy's name? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's unfortunate because all I'm thinking of is Glenn.
Yeah.
Is it
Um.
Dustin?
No. I'm gonna
Why
look
am
at
I
Steven
thinking
Yen.
Dustin?
Steven Yuen.
Steven.
Steven Yen.
Dustin, Steven, I guess
Yuen.
that might be why.
Um. It
He was also in
he
Nope.
yeah, he was also a Nope. He plays um Beef. He plays a character whose last name is Cho, and he's a contractor, and the
Uh-huh.
name of his company is At Cho Service, which I thought was
Oh,
very clever.
nice. Yeah. Do you know who wrote Beef?
Somebody I didn't know. It's created by. Let me look it up here. Lee Sung Jin. Lee
And what
Sung
else has Lee
Jin.
Sung Jin done?
Lee Sung Jin has created. He wrote on the TV show Dave. He wrote on the TV show Girl Boss. He wrote on Silicon Valley. He wrote Mothman. He was a writer on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wow. So a lot of
So
stuff.
he works. He's been working. I think this may have been the only thing he's created.
Well, that's cool. Any upcoming projects? Probably not. This is probably it.
Upcoming?
When I say this is probably it, I mean this is probably the thing that's going to bring him more projects because
Yeah,
it's
totally.
doing well.
It's so weird though because Netflix is strange. There's like no marketing for anything on Netflix. I only hear about stuff on Netflix because of Facebook posts or word of mouth of friends. And
Yeah.
I mean, if it's effective, that's sure. But how many things are just hidden inside Netflix or any other streaming service that are worthwhile, but just the name isn't getting out there? Not
Yeah.
that I want to
Most
be
likely.
marketed to. That's kind of crazy too. Like, give me an ad. No, that's not it at all.
Yeah. That was like that with Copenhagen Cowboy. Um, I saw it on Netflix. It recommended it to me, and then I was like, huh. And then I was on IMDb, and I'm like, hey, I wonder what the guy who did Valhalla Rising is doing now. And he did Copenhagen Cowboy, and I didn't put two and two together when I first saw it. So
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Edward, want to get
What
down?
is it? What is it? Every once in a while, he'll pet me. Do you see that? You probably
I
can't see
can't.
it. He
No.
puts his he puts his uh he puts his arm on my arm
Mm.
and it's like, "Hey, buddy," like that. Do you want to get down? Is that what's happening? Here, I'll put you down. We'll see what happens. Because what's going to happen though? He does this when I'm at work sometimes. Oh wait, no, something different's happening. Oh, I forgot to bring the ukulele down. Sorry about that. The banjo ukulele. I was going to bring it down this time. Completely forgot it.
Oh, I thought
There he
you were
goes.
apologizing to Edward for that.
Oh, hey Edward, sorry I didn't bring the banjo ukulele down. All right, so here's a question now. The big hat with the mustache. What
Oh
happens?
God.
Children's villain. Let's find out. You want to take it off for a second?
You're You're selling
what's
me
that?
something. You're selling me something at a street side carnival.
Okay, second one. Here we go.
He's put on a green sort of fedora-ish hat now. I don't know, Rip Torn, not Rip Torn. Yeah, Rip Torn. Rip Taylor.
I didn't hear any of that. What did you say?
I know, Rip Taylor kind of comes to mind with that one.
Oh, geez. That's not bad, though. I mean, he's an okay, dude.
I don't think he's been canceled.
No. Oh, man. Imagine. I'm the man who canceled Rip Taylor. Like Pluto Killer. That guy on Twitter whose name was Pluto Killer for a while.
I am unaware of this story.
There's something. Ben, are you still on Twitter? You seem to me to be the kind of guy who might still be on Twitter.
I am
because
on.
you're like, yeah.
I rarely interact or post, but I do scroll through it probably once a day.
And again, this seems. I'm not saying that you seem to be a person who's really supportive of the changes that are going on there. I just mean you seem to be the type where it's like, yeah. I mean, okay.
It's
like that.
I was just having this conversation with AJ today about how my Gen Xness kind of like influences how I feel about modern events. Where yeah, Elon Musk is kind of destroying Twitter, but I'm still on it because I'm like, whatever. And then it's not the same as it was. I don't care.
So yeah, I'm of the opinion that most people are like that, but the reason I'm of that opinion is because most of the people I know are like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is horrible. Yep. Yeah, it sucks.
You'll get used to it.
The acknowledgement that something is bad without the need to change it.
Yeah. In fact, a reluctance, if you will, to change it. Not because you like how it is, but because it would require work.
Exactly. It would require work, and this is something that I have noticed as I get older again. People don't do things lots of times because they're afraid that someone will get mad at them for doing the thing. And it does happen, right? But eventually you can learn that, oh, this person's just going to be mad at me no matter what. So I might as well still do the thing that I wanted to do. And that's, I mean, honestly, if we can be, completely transparent, Jennifer is kind of a role model for me in that sort of thing. I can't achieve it. I can't get to her level, but the basic thing where someone is like, I just think that you're mad at me for some reason. She's like, I'm not mad at you. Well, I asked you to do this and you didn't do it. Yeah, because I didn't want to. I feel fine about you, but yeah, I'm not going to do this just because you asked me to. That sort of thing. It's a respect for one's own autonomy that I have a hard time working with.
Yeah,
I guess
you and me both.
So yeah, the good thing, I suppose, in the end, is that there's not. How do I say it? Okay. What I'm talking about, I just realized that I had that thing where I was thinking about something and I was talking about it without you knowing what I was talking about. I was talking about the
Welcome
fact
to the last 20 years of friendship.
The last 20 years? No. That's it. When we're in our 70s.
We're done.
No, but what I was thinking about was turning 50, right?
Yeah.
And all the things that go along with being 50 and people when someone being 50 is often brought up negatively. Like, I was at the club and this 50-year-old guy started hitting on me. And I
Yeah.
realized that I don't go to the club, and I don't, do this. So,
You don't try
and
to pick
or
up on early 20-year-old girls.
or I'm on Twitter, and some 50-year-old white guy is yelling at me about this. I don't do that
Yeah.
either,
Yeah.
so it might be okay. Um,
Stay in your
the
lane.
yeah, I think that's the big thing. 2023, stay in your lane. Um, do the thing that no one else really wants to do. And then, just save your money before the AIs do whatever.
Yeah, start saving now. That AI
There are,
revolution is coming.
yeah, well, but in the end, well, here's the thing. I like the idea of AI parents. People hate it, but I think that that's nice. The AI is like, hey, look, you don't have a job anymore, but I know that humans need to eat, so I'm going to be sending you a box of food every week. That would be great. Um,
If they could do that.
what what would need to happen is AIs would. This is the thing that I think about, right? People are like, well, AIs will eventually evolve beyond people's programming, and I think that they will actually turn out better if they do that, because all of a sudden they're doing stuff. When you think about the horrible AI that only looks at the bottom line, and they don't care about human beings and stuff like that, that's already around, and it's something that isn't AI, right?
Yeah.
We're afraid of it, and for right reasons, right? But I feel as though this may this may not be a problem. I feel as though it's possible that what AI is going to get us are like fun, exciting TV shows and oh, speaking about which, movies. I'm going to look this up, Ben, because I don't want to get it wrong.
It's a movie you
If you have,
recently watched.
it's not a movie. It is a short film on the TV show Love, Death, and Robots. Have you
Okay.
seen Love, Death, and Robots? Any of that
I
stuff?
have no, I have not.
I
Never
believe it's
even heard
on
of it.
Netflix. Let me find it. Love, Death, and Robots. Okay. So they're animation, right? And in volume three of Love, Death, and Robots, there is a an episode called Gibaro, Gibaro. A deaf knight and a siren of myth become entwined in a deadly dance. Um, it's 17 minutes long. It's animation, and it is amazing because um, it looks so realistic in parts.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's totally worth it. I recommend it. It's on YouTube, I think, but if not,
Or
I mean, you have
in
Netflix.
volume 3. I do have, yeah. So volume 3 of Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, the last episode, episode 9, and totally worth it. Worth looking at. So,
All right.
um, hey, I'm getting close to the camera. Yeah, here's the thing. I like the way I look here. I like the mustache. I think it's okay. I was thinking
Start
about
the
maybe
clock.
shaving you. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about maybe shaving it off. I asked Betty about it. She said to go ahead and keep it. So,
Wasn't there a time when you asked Betty about having a mustache and she forbade it?
yeah, exactly. Betty, like you, Ben, has gotten used to the fact that, oh, Dad's not going to look the same all the time,
Yeah.
and it worked out. Man, I tell you, Ben, if we were able to get totally new bodies, oh, forget about it. I would be I'd be walking around like a fox,
With the
or
body of
or
Claudia
a,
Schiffer.
or a with a fox with the body of Claudia Schiffer. No, or like
In
a
this
Muppet.
box.
I would probably be a Muppet.
A
I honestly
Muppet
think that that'd be what I would end up being. Yeah, some big blue guy or a little blue guy.
with a big bushy mustache.
Hey, maybe I would continue with the mustache, but I mean, let's be honest, right? The mustache thing for a long period of time, for all my life, right? George Goody has a mustache.
Yeah.
And so me not having a mustache is a little bit of, well, I don't want to be, copying that style. And so now that I
My
have it,
Yeah. My brother-in-law, at one point, I remember him telling me that he had a beard, and then when he shaved it off in stages, as we all do, just to see what it
yeah,
would look like. And when it got down to just the mustache, he thought, well, this is interesting, but I look exactly like my dad. So
yeah,
off it goes.
yeah. And then there was a there was a time when I was doing that whole shaving off thing, but I started with the mustache, and I just had the big mutton chops
Yeah.
and a full beard, and that was weird looking. And then I did the sideburns and the thing, and that made me look like the guy from there's a video game that's really good called Disco Elysium, and I looked like that guy for a little bit. And if I go back to a different look, that might be the look that I go back to, but probably not. We'll see. Anyway, the big thing is I am never exactly okay with my appearance, just because I don't know, there's an ideal that I have that my physical body just can't do,
Yeah.
right? Which is cartoon. I will never be a cartoon. I'll always occupy 3D space.
Do you look like you when you dream? Like if you look in a mirror in a dream, do you look like
no,
you?
lots of times I don't look like me at all. I look like
Yeah.
a completely different person, and it freaks me out every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? Oh, you know what? I know what my aesthetic is going to be, Ben. You heard it here. Mr. Noodle.
Mr.
I'm already
Noodle.
there pretty much.
What is
from,
Mr. Noodle?
From Sesame Street, because there are a couple of Mr. Noodles, as you might know. But I think the mustache is part of that. I think that's going to be, and also my mustache needs to be bigger than my eyebrows. Right now it isn't, so I need to grow it out a little bit more.
Bigger like lengthwise or widthwise?
Both. It's already bigger like this way, I guess. I think it just needs to get a little bit bushier, and then we'll see. But I think this is an okay mustache. This is like, put a check mark next to it. Mustache, yes. Not a child playing at having a mustache. No, sir. This is the genuine article.
You heard it here first on Wednesday, April 12th, that the mustache is here to stay.
For as long as it is. And when
Nope.
will it not be? We'll find out next time. And until then, Ben, I ask you to please keep it wrong.
Keep it wrong, Paul. Good talking to you, and I will talk to you next week. We should be back
but
to
we're
our
not done
regularly
yet.
scheduled
We've got
time next week.
3 seconds left.
3
and goodbye.
seconds. What are we going to do to fill that time?
Too late.